here, when we commune together, I start talking and then I get into something that I need to share with everyone. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit and share it. So right now in this world, there's a lot of things going on that can create chaos in people's lives. And judge them. Like if you watch the news, one news station will say one thing, one news station will say another, and they're saying, things, and they're fighting. People are fighting. And so I teach, and I've been taught, and I only teach what I've been taught, is that there isn't, if you think of someone as bad, you're judging them. It's a judgment. And it doesn't matter what they do. If we judge them, we're bringing that into us. That's causing us, because when you say someone is bad, that puts fear into you. And when you're afraid, normally that creates suffering inside of you. So the fear is creating things, and it comes from a judgment that you've made inside yourself about something or someone else. And it's hard because we're taught to judge things. We're taught that. Everything you watch on TV is teaching you how to do that. It teaches you to judge yourself. It teaches you to judge everybody else. It teaches you that nobody's good enough. Okay? So I'm telling you that's all garbage. Okay? Because you are good enough. And we're all equal. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how much knowledge you have. We are all equal. There's no one better than someone else. They may have more wisdom, but it doesn't mean they're better. We misconstrue things. We take things and we make them something that they're not. People who have wisdom and they use it, wisdom, there's two different things, knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is when you gain something, you gain an understanding, right? You got it. But wisdom is when you use it. You take the knowledge that you've gotten and you use it. That's your wisdom. You're saying, oh, I was taught this. Let me use it. Let me take it and bring it in and let it help me. That's wisdom, right? That creates wisdom inside of you. No one is better than someone else for doing that. It just means they've recognized that. They're like, oh, okay, that was a good tool. Let me use it. That's what it is. That's all it is. Doesn't mean they're better. Doesn't mean they're worse. It just means that they're using a tool that they have. That's it. And in this crazy world we live in, right, when we get in chaos, we don't sometimes recognize the tools that we have. But if you start to recognize, okay, oh, this thought created this feeling inside of me, okay? This little thought that I had created this feeling inside of me. So what do I need to do to get to let that go? Not attach to it. See? And the second you recognize it, you've grown. You've grown. Because before you weren't recognizing it, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of us think we're spinning our wheels and we're not getting where we need to be and we're not growing, but you are, because you're starting to recognize things that before you did not know, right? You didn't know. So when I say don't judge, I mean yourself too. Because we do that, and that creates all kinds of stuff inside of us. We don't need that inside of us. Don't judge yourself. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Know that you are giving an effort. Sometimes we give more of an effort than other times. That's okay. That's okay. It's gonna, you'll make up for it later, you know. But sometimes you have to give the effort because you don't want to be in the suffering. Because if you go in the suffering at that moment in time, it could create some stuff for you that you don't want to go into, right? So you have to you'll start recognizing it, and this is your growth. This is where you start to get enlightenment. See, it begins in recognition. Yes.
So there are some people that I know are not good for me.
Okay.
Are not good for me to be around.
Yes.
Okay. The difference between knowing they're not good for me to be around, and judgment. I need a line there.
Well, you will get to the point where you won't have to have a line. Okay? You'll get to that point. But right now you're working on you. Right? And you feel things from other people that don't make you feel so good. It's just like when you have a thought and it doesn't make you feel so good, it's like that, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's the same thing, makes you suffer, right? That thought makes you suffer. If you're around a person and they're saying things or they're doing things that are making you suffer, well, then what do? You go away from that because you do that in your own mind. When you're saying something to yourself that's making yourself suffer, you recognize that, right? Oh, that's not something I want to say. So let me let that go. Let me, I don't need to go there with it. So this is how, I'm not saying tell that person. No, you don't need to tell that person. You can just say, oh, I got to let that go because that's not making me feel good, right? You're not saying that person's bad. You're just saying I'm getting this feeling inside that I don't care for, so I'm going to remove myself from that situation. That's okay. Nobody says you have to stay in it, right? You don't want to stay in the chaos when you're creating it yourself, right? None of us do. When there's a thought that comes in my head, I get rid of it if it's not going to serve me in a good way, right? In a way that makes me even, makes me at peace, makes me in balance, right? And I can tell you that, and I've said it before, sometimes what we think is bad is really something good because it had to happen that way to bring us to a certain point. And I can tell you from experience, right? In my own life. Master Boomni used to say to me, what's good is bad and what's bad is good. And I was like, what is he talking about? I don't get that at all because how can bad be good? I don't get it, but I get it now because those things happen because it's bringing us into where we need to be so we can see things inside ourselves. See, and I used to, I've said it a lot. When you're angry with someone, right? You're seeing something in them that's in you. But flip the script. When you see someone and you think, oh, they're such a beautiful soul, what you're seeing in them is also in you. It's a beautiful thought, right? But it's truth. It's truth. So if we can remember this, and anyone that is, what we would dub as evil or bad or whatever is suffering. They're suffering. And there's not one of us here who hasn't suffered and doesn't know what that feels like, right? We know that suffering. So really, when we get to a point where we are no longer suffering, then it's time for us to be able to help someone else not suffer, which is why I do what I do here. Because I got to a point where I'm not suffering. I can see it before it hits me. So now I have to share that. It's my responsibility to share that and give these tools to everyone I can so they don't have to suffer anymore. Because it's not necessary to suffer. It's really not necessary to suffer. If you're in balance, you don't suffer. It's not that things don't come. They come, but you recognize them. I have a mountain of stuff coming at me all the time. I do. But I recognize what it is. Oh, that's that. That's not part of me. That's outside of me. And I don't even need to even give it another thought, right? I don't have to. You have this choice, and you can do it like that, or you can not do it like that. And it's all, the hardest part about what I do is that I want everybody just to get it, right? I want everyone not to suffer. What a beautiful world this will be when everyone's not suffering anymore. People walking around being kind to each other, spreading love, offering food, offering shelter. I said the other day to someone, I said, yeah, they asked me, they hadn't seen me since I got back from Thailand, and they were asking me about it. I said, oh, it's beautiful, If you don't have a place to live and they have land, they'll be like, here, you can, put a little shack on my land here. And, and they said, well, here, if you do that, they're going to say it's their land and take it. So you're giving them it anyway. Right? They're living there anyway. Let them live there. Who cares? Right? If you have enough land to be able to do that, let them have it. So what? What's it hurting? So if we start to think in a different way, we can start the process of healing ourselves. And then we can, as we're healing ourselves, once we get to a point where the other things don't affect us, see, we have to get to that point. Otherwise, if we're not at that point, it's going to affect us, right? We're going to bring what everybody else got going on inside us and, have a party of suffering. And we don't want to do that. So we have to do us first and get us to a point where we know. And you'll know because someone will say something and you won't have to respond to it, right? This is a good way to figure it out for yourself. If someone's saying something that you don't agree with, you don't have to respond to it because it's not about you. That's a hard one because we always want to go, no, that's not true. Let me just correct you and get you on the straight and narrow. But it's not. That's not, because maybe it's not their time to know. Maybe if you tell them that, that'll send them down a whole nother spiral of, something that they don't need to go down. And it's hard. It's not easy to do that. I have family members that don't agree with what I say. So I have to not speak about it, because they don't agree with it. That's okay. This is their journey. It's not mine. That's their journey. I'm on my own journey over here. I'm doing my journey. They got to do theirs. And my wish for them is that they find peace in it. I hope they, I wish them peace. I wish them happiness. I hope they find that, because there's a lot of suffering out there. And if we wish for everyone to be in peace, like that little chant that we listen to when we do the meditation, everybody wishing everybody peace. They don't just say good people, You know, they say all. They even say demons and ghosts. See, and that will freak people out because they're judging what that is. We really don't know what it is. Like, until you become whatever that is, you don't know what it is, right? You know, everybody's guessing at it. Everybody, oh, I know what it is. Okay. Okay. It is what it is. Doesn't have to be what you think it is inside of you. It just is. See, when we can say things like it just is, then you can let it go. Right? You can let it go. You can just be at peace inside yourself because it's not about you. That stuff out there isn't about you. You know, that's somebody else doing their journey. You know, and they may have quite a big journey to go on. It's not about you. You got to let them take their journey. You know, you can't go, okay, I know you're on this journey, but let me tell you how to do your journey, right?
Here's a question.
Sure.
Because we're talking about this, and sometimes talking to friends, I don't necessarily like what we're talking about. I can simply say, I don't think we should really be talking about this and change the subject if I want to. Can I?
You can say, you know what, I'd prefer not to talk about it. If y'all want to talk about it, I'm not going to be in it.
Because that's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
And I just want to make sure that's okay. I mean,
that's fine.
I think it's okay because it's just not something I want to be a part of.
Right. That's fine because it doesn't make you feel in balance. Mm-hmm. Right? It makes you feel out of balance. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. So that's part of taking care of you. If you're, I'll give you for instance, this is a hypothetical. Okay. If I'm at a grocery store and somebody pulls out a gun, or I'm riding with somebody and they say, I'm going to go rob a store, I'm going to be like, whoa, let me out. I'm not going with you. If you're taking that ride, Kim is going outside of it because I'm not going to do that, So no, you certainly don't have to take the trip with them. And it's fine to go, I'm backing out. Y'all, I'm not telling you can't talk about it. I'm just saying I'm not going to talk about it. And that's fine because you're taking care of you. And it sounds, we've been taught to think that's selfish, right? It's selfish to take care of yourself. Not true. That's not true at all. So much so that we harm ourselves in order to do that. And that's not okay, right? It's not okay for you to harm yourself to do something that you don't want to do in the first place, right? Like, this is your life. This is your journey. And you have a responsibility to yourself to take care of yourself. Because if we're not taking care of ourselves, we certainly cannot help others. There's no way. We can't. It's impossible to do. I've tried. I tried when I wasn't in a place of upekkha, balance, right? I tried when I wasn't in balance. And some of y'all were there. What did that do? It wreaked havoc on everybody, right? But when you're in balance and you're taking care of yourself, then you can say, oh, this is a tool I got. This is a good one. You can use it if you want to. If you don't, that's okay too. But I'm trying to give you the shortcut, and really that's how it works. That's what any religion teaches, even though it doesn't sound like it teaches that. That's what Jesus did. Jesus traveled around. He took care of himself, and then he took care of others, right? Buddha traveled around, took care of himself, then he took care of others. Now, that's not to say they didn't go on a journey before they figured out how to take care of themselves, right? Buddha almost starved himself to death before he figured out how to take care of himself, right? They're beautiful examples of of what it is, because we all have to figure it out for ourselves. We all go through this journey where we're like torturing ourselves almost, right? I did it. I went through a whole journey where it was like, whew, and I'm so glad that part of it's over. I have to say, I'm glad that that's done, because now I can do what I've been put here to do. I can help people. I can help them when they're suffering. I can say, oh, here, this is a tool I got that I use with myself, and here, you try it. And there's all kinds of tools. Like there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tools that people throughout, our lifetime and many, 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 many lifetimes have figured out. There's many tools. And so when someone of high wisdom gives me a tool, I'm going to try it out. I'm going to try it. And that's what I did. I tried out tools that were given to me, Now, sometimes the people that I thought had high wisdom didn't have such high wisdom, And my instinct, my inner self knew it, And that. But sometimes you're in such a search for enlightenment, for the the right thing inside of yourself. You're searching for it. You've searched for it your entire life, and you've done it for so long that sometimes you don't listen to your inner self because you're so wanting that. Right? You want it so bad. And even though your inner self is like, this doesn't feel so good, and I did that. I can admit that I did that because that was a whole nother lifetime ago. And now I've been like working on me. And it has brought about peace. And now I'm like sharing that. I'm like, here, this is it. And I'm going to start going step by step, because I'm going to tell you, it was a journey. 12 hours a day meditation, that's a lot, right? And I'm not saying everybody has to do that, right? But that was part of my journey. That was part of what I had to do. Listening to things I had no idea what, I read the Pali dictionary. I read it because, and I'm going to tell you, I still go back to it. And the reason is because there's so many things in there. It's written in Pali, but it has a little bit, English next to it. So it gives you, what it is. And there's so much knowledge in that book. It's a dictionary, right? But there is so much knowledge because it tells step by step. It'll say, Bodhidharma, whatever it is, 37. That means there's 37 steps to this, right? There's 37 things you got to do to get out of this suffering, right? Reach enlightenment. Get nibbana, right? There's 37. If you do them all regularly inside yourself, you're going to not suffer. So you go back and you read this, back and forth. Okay, this one, there's like 4 of this, 5 of this, 7 of this, And like when I was in class and I was hearing it, I'm like, what are they talking about, right? I mean, really, I said, what are they talking about? What is this 37? Right? But then I looked, I researched it. I went down and I was like, here it is. It's 37. It means you got to do these 4 things. And then you got to do these 4 things. Here it is. It's right here in the dictionary. I wish our dictionary was like that, but it really started to clear things up for me. And what I mean when I say the dictionary tells you step by step, I mean it says be mindful, be aware of what your mind is thinking. They call it sati, right? Mindfulness. It tells you mindfulness. Be aware, right? Be aware because something may be coming in that you don't want in. Be aware of it. Ah, okay. You know, it gives you these little step by step. And it doesn't talk about any religion. It's telling you step by step, look, be mindful. You know, don't take things in. Get rid of them. Avoid that inside yourself. I was like, whoa, look at this. And so I read the dictionary. It sounds crazy, but I did it because I saw the step by steps that it was telling me to do. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to try it out, see what happens. And the journey that I took when I went to Thailand, that was not an easy journey, right? It was not easy. I mean, first I land there, and I'm telling you this because I know your journey isn't easy. I know your journeys are not easy. But no journey's easy. It takes an effort. It takes, step by step. So I go to Thailand. I land there. I'm there one day and I fly to India. I get on a bus and I was on blind faith, right? I'm just going. I get off the airplane and I look out and it looks like fog. And I'm like, geez, it's foggy out there, right? I get out of the airport and it's so dusty the fog is not fog, it's dust. And I'm like, you breathe and you can't breathe. And so this is why everybody walks around like this, right? With their arms around their head, because it's dusty. We sometimes think it's something else, but it's not. It's because it's dusty there and they're trying to breathe. I get on a bus with about 30 other people, none of which speak English. And I have no clue where I'm going, right? I don't know where I'm going. I'm the only vegetarian on the bus, by the way, and they have packed lunches. Here we are. But it taught me grace, right? Humility. It was a beautiful experience. I had to, sometimes I had to just sit in meditation on that bus, right? Because, you're listening to people that are not speaking your language and you don't know what they're saying and you're trying to figure out what they're saying, but there's no way for you to really figure out what they're saying, right? Because they're just talking. So I'm, having to let go. See, it was a teaching. It was a big teaching. I had to let go. I had to let go of any kind of control I thought I had. I had to let go of any kind of anger, frustration that was inside me. What am I going to do? I'm in India, right? So, everything we go through, and the harder, the better. Good if it's hard, because it's really going to teach you, right? It's going to teach you lessons that you never thought you would need to know, but you're going to know them. And when you know them, you'll know them with your heart and soul. And you'll be able to help someone else going through that very thing that you went through. Right? It's beautiful, really. 10 days of it. Going on roads that were like this, you think that the bus can't get through and the bus and another bus go, and you're like, ooh, I'm not kidding. We went across the bridge. I don't know what it was made of, but there were holes in it, in a bus with 30 people on it. You got to have faith, right? Okay, hopefully I'm going to get across to the other side. I don't know, right? So, and then you see children hungry, begging you for money. You don't have enough money to give every one of those children, right? Everything you see, it's an experience. It's learning. It's learning. It's learning. It's learning. Allow it to teach you. We don't have to suffer in it. Don't suffer in it. It's not you. See, I could have took all those little kids and suffered about that, right? Because there was a boatload of them. But I didn't. Because what good would that do? What would it do if I were suffering and they're suffering? You got two people suffering. Doesn't do anything, right? But when you get out of the suffering, there's something beautiful that happens. You're able to, it's an amazing thing. You're able to see things as they really are, right? As they really are, like not good or bad. They just are. They're just that, We name things, we create things, we make things different than what they are, but they're really not. They're just that. They're just that. What? That. Just that. We don't have to name it, And the more you practice at just this even space, it's not an easy task I'm giving you. It's not easy because, we've for many, many, many years, many centuries, lifetimes, we've done this. That's bad. That's good. I don't want to, all of it. But eventually you get to the point when you're so confident inside yourself. See, we have to have confidence in ourselves. Because inside of you is the truth. Inside of you is the truth. What is the truth? That there's suffering. That there's a way not to suffer. Right? There's a way not to suffer. And when you recognize that way not to suffer, it's in you already. It's not outside of you. We look outside of ourselves all the time for it. It's not there. We're looking in the wrong place. It's inside of us. In this beautiful heart that we have is this peace. If we stop the judgment about yourself. We're all on this journey together. None of us know where we're going. We're just going. We don't know where we're going to end up. Sometimes we think we do, and it's not at all where we end up. Right? I mean, this is truth. Like, I thought I was going to Thailand, and I ended up in India for 10 days. Right? But it was a beautiful experience. Beautiful experience. And then I was only going to stay 2 weeks in Thailand, turned into 9 months. We don't know. But what I do know is that if we let go of trying to control it all, if we let go of trying to judge ourselves and everyone else, and just stay in this balance of, okay. Practice just saying okay. Sometimes I say okay, and people will go, I know that okay. That means it's not okay. I'm like, it means it's okay. You're making the judgment call. You're calling the shots in your life. I can see something, but if you don't want to, that's okay. That's what that means. It's okay. I cannot take it on. We all get to the point where we don't have to, we can see things as they're coming, like the thoughts we have, we can see them before they actually create the suffering. Or right when they're starting to create the suffering, we're going to be like, that's a thought that's going to make me suffer. So I'm going to let that go. That's progress, right? That's when you get progress. This is beautiful. This is good. Vanessa said to me today, but I'm doing it all the time. I'm like all the time trying to make myself stop this. And I was like, good. That means you're recognizing it all the time. That's good. That's not a bad thing. We think it's bad because we're not, we keep having to do it. But there was a time when you didn't know to do it. There was a time when you didn't even know what that thought was. That is growth. That's beautiful. I mean, that to me, I'm like, good. Yes, if you're doing it all the time, hallelujah. This is a good thing, because before you weren't doing it at all and you were suffering all the time. Now, at least you're like, oh, that's going to make me suffer. Let me let go of it. So what? 2 minutes later, you got to do it again. Okay. You're recognizing it. You're not bringing it in, and you're not suffering because of it. The more you do that, the less you will have to do it. I'm going to say that again. The more you do it, the less you will have to do it. Because you will stop those thoughts. It's like, I was going to say a dog barking, but, my sister-in-law's dog barks all the time. But he doesn't do it while I'm home with him. Like if him and I are there together, no barking. Doesn't matter what happens, he's not barking. Why? Because I cook him eggs, right? I'll fix him eggs on Sundays and Fridays. But if he gets crazy and is all barking and going nuts, that I don't like it. I don't like it. So I say to him, you going to bark, I'm not going to make you eggs. Right? So you decide. You want eggs or not? I don't care. It's up to you.
That means no more food.
And so, no, he gets his regular food. He just does not get the eggs, right? And so that's, eventually he doesn't bark. He doesn't do it for me because he knows I'm going to cook him eggs if he doesn't do that, right? And he likes eggs. He likes scrambled eggs. He's like, yeah. And he'll get up like on Friday mornings. He knows it's Friday morning, right? He comes in there like, Kim, you will fix me eggs today? I didn't bark. Like, But then the other day he yapped all the time in with Kathy. And I was like, no, you're not getting eggs today because you barked all last night. You barked all last night. You're not getting eggs today. Right? I talk to him just like that. And he does not bark for me.
I can't say anything. I did the same thing with my cat.
Yeah.
I said, well, I'm not going to give you any more treats if you're going to keep doing that. You know better now. I'm just not going to give you any
They
more
understand. They understand.
Cat looks at me like.
But look, that's what we do to ourselves. Okay? So we start recognizing the suffering as it's coming. And we say, oh no, that's not my treat. My treat is when I don't suffer. So I'm going to stop it before it hits me. And then pretty soon they get fewer and fewer and fewer. But first, it'll seem like it's more and more because you're not used to recognizing it. And so when you're recognizing, you're like, I am wearing myself out, talking about it. But it's good because before you didn't recognize it, so you just suffered all the time. Now you're recognizing it and you're like, oh, no, that thought's going to make me suffer. Stop it. And you do this with yourself. And, it's progress. Even though it feels like, you're getting worn out because you're continually going, I'm watching my thoughts. I know that this is, it's okay. It's good. Tell yourself it's good. Good job. Pat yourself on the back. Good job. I recognize that was going to make me suffer and I didn't bring it in and attach to it. I don't care if it came back 2 minutes later and I had to do it again. Good job. Because I didn't attach. See, if you do that, a few things are happening. You're getting used to recognizing what makes you suffer and letting it go. Letting it go. Not attaching to it. Letting it go. See, that's the key, not attaching to it, right? You're getting used to that. And you're building up your confidence because you're saying to yourself, oh, good job. Good job. Stop telling yourself, oh my God, I'll never get this because I keep having to, tell myself to stop thinking that, right? No. Flip the script and say, good job for recognizing it. This is how, you have to start building yourself up. Building yourself up. Don't build yourself up. Recognize a thought, let it go. Recognize a thought, let it go. Don't attach, good or bad, right? Because we got to create balance. Sometimes we get so excited over something, right? We go, woo, I got it. I'm like, I always cringe when somebody's like, I got this now. I'm like, yeah, today, right this second, for a minute, because the excitement is an attachment. You've now attached to an outcome. And when you attach to an outcome, what goes up's got to come down. There's suffering. 100% of the time, So if you just recognize it, tell yourself good job in recognizing, then let it go. Don't attach to it. Don't get all, this roller coaster that you're on, it comes like this, and so do you. So, but if you do this and you're just like, yeah, that was a good job, boop, let it go. Just let it go. And then then you become in balance. It's it's not an easy task. And it takes effort and it takes practice. But the more you practice something, the better you get at it. The more you practice, the better you get, and you will get it. You will get it. You are getting it. Don't tell yourself you're not. You're getting it. It's a process, it's a process. And the more you do this, the better you get at it. Just let it be. Let it be. Don't criticize yourself. Know that you're working on it. You are working on it. If you weren't, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't listen to it. You'd be like, no, I got it. And you'd be gone. Right? But you're giving it an effort. And I can tell you, the more effort you give it, the quicker it happens. But if you get lazy and you don't want to do it, well, it's going to take longer. It's going to take longer. But it happens really quickly if you give it the great effort. It happens very quickly. I mean, I was gone 9 months, right? That's pretty quick. That's pretty quick. And I worked hard. I worked hard. I gave it the great effort. And if you do it, 100% you'll be there. 100%. This world will try to suck you in and try to create suffering inside of you, but you don't have to let it happen. You don't have to let it happen. You have the right to protect yourself from suffering. Right? You do. You have that right. Like I said, I'm not going to ride with somebody and go rob a store. Not going to happen. No, I'm going to get out. And I probably won't go visit that person anymore, Like, no, I'm good.
I'm putting myself back in that situation.
Right, I'm good. Y'all go ahead. I'm fine with that. So, and it's not judging the person. It's saying that I'm not doing that. I'm not going with that. Right.
I gotta do what I gotta
do. You want to do that? I'm sending you love. right? I'm sending you love. But I'm not going to join you because I don't want suffering in my life. You know, I say that. I say that to Vanessa sometimes. You want to suffer? I'm going to let you suffer, but I'm not going to go there with you, you know, because I don't want to suffer. I don't want to suffer. And I'm not going to because that's a choice that I've made in my life. I work hard every day. See, I don't stop. I didn't stop when I left Thailand. You know, I didn't stop doing what I knew would create peace in my life. I kept right on going with it because it creates peace in my life and I like peace. So, I mean, I made an effort to get it back on, but I didn't just sit there and go, you know, but I didn't get crazy. I didn't cuss people out or, you know, I just was like, okay, I need to do this, right? You can do things without getting emotionally attached. You can just do them, knowing that they're outside of you. So, do we want to do a little meditation this evening? All right. Let's do I'm going to do I'll call the angels in. Because I like to call the angels in. Okay. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Sa ke game jarupe karisi karatate jandhari ke uimane. Ti perate jakame turuana akane ke awatum ikete. Puma jayantu tiwa shalatala wisaninyaka. Kantapananta Tidanta Shanti Geyang Muniwana Wachanang Sata Ume Sunantu Dhamma Savanagalo Ayang Pantanta Dhamma savanagalo ayang pantantana. Dhamma savanagalo ayang pantantana. Uto Metta ceto imutiya, karuna ceto imutiya, mutita ceto imutiya, ubeka ceto imutiya. Okay. How is everyone? Loving kindness in your heart for yourself. Be kind to yourself. Know that you're on a beautiful journey and that you're making progress. Okay? Have a good week. I will see you next week.